In preparing for this conference, I spent a lot of time thinking about my own kindergarten teacher, whose name was Miss Brainy, which you have to admit is an awesome name for a kindergarten teacher. And it was a long time ago that I was in kindergarten, but I remember two distinct things about her. Number one was that I was the kid who cried every day at drop-off for probably a month at the beginning of school. And I remember I would cry so hard I would fall asleep during circle, and I would wake up on Miss Brainy's lap. And I would look up at her, and she would be talking, and I just had this warm feeling, and I would wake up, and I would not cry for the rest of the day. It would happen again the next day. But the second thing I remember about her is that despite that rough start for me, I ended kindergarten loving school and loving learning. And I cannot tell you exactly what Miss Brainy did, but she ignited in me a lifelong passion for learning. And I am so, so grateful to her for that. And it's just a testament to the amount of work that you all put in to really changing people's lives and creating our future, as Jane said. So thank you. It's an honor to be here, and I hope I can help make your work life a little easier. So we're going to talk about conflict, and I'm going to start actually, well, first of all, the other thing I want to say, this is my first time in Ontario. So yes, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I really hope it's not my last, and because it's my first time, I am choosing to believe that there is a law in Ontario that every hotel has to have a 2-story pool slide. What's that called? Slide, right? Water slide, thank you. Right, that's true, right? Everyone tell me that's true? Okay, good, because I'm definitely coming back for the water slide. Okay, we're going to start with story time. I'm going to tell you about a story that doesn't have to do with my kindergarten teacher, and it has a less happy ending than the story I just told. This is something that happened early in my career. I was working as a consultant, and I had a client who was a very nice person, but I just did not see eye to eye with her on almost everything. And because she was my client, I felt like it was my responsibility. I was early in my career, I was late 20s, and I felt like it was my responsibility to serve her. So anything she said, I thought should go, right? She was in charge. But I didn't like I didn't like the choices she was making. I didn't like the timeline she was going along. I thought she was really slow with things. So every time she sent me an email, I would forward it to a colleague of mine and complain about her. And I have to admit that sometimes these emails were not G-rated, right? They'd had some colorful language because I was really frustrated and I felt like I couldn't tell her that I disagreed with her. So one day I get an email from her. I forward it to my colleague. Again, some choice words about how frustrating it is to work with this woman. And I hit send, and about 3 seconds later, can anyone guess what happened? Yeah. I did not forward it. I had hit reply. And I thought right away, okay, I'm going to be fired. I should probably get this over quickly. I went to my boss's desk and I said, I just sent an email to a client calling her, I won't say the word, because again, it wasn't G-rated. And he said, okay, and I was ready for you're fired, and he said, go apologize. Now, this was in New York. Her office was about 30 blocks north of our office. And I really had this thought right away, like, no, I'd rather be fired than have to go apologize to her. But he was right, and he said, go stop at a florist, and on your way up there, and go apologize. And that's exactly what I did. Showed up at her office unannounced with a really obscenely large bouquet, thinking I could at least hide behind it. And I walked in and she laughed. And to her credit, she said, why didn't you tell me? And all she wanted to know, she wasn't mad, she didn't hold it against me, all she wanted to know was, why didn't you tell me that you disagreed with me? And it was an important life lesson, right? Because so many times we disagree with someone, we have a difference of opinion, we see the world a little bit differently, and instead of telling that person, we think it's the kind thing to do, right, to not disagree. And that couldn't be more wrong. So in the effort of avoiding conflict, we end up creating greater conflict, and we actually end up hurting feelings and most importantly, the project would have been better, right? Had I told her that I saw it differently, had we been able to hash out the specifics, the timeline, the pace we were going at, who we were collaborating with, the project would have been better. And it was a huge opportunity loss.